leadership and capacity building. She continues to equip young women on journeys through training and mentorship. Blessing enjoys reading, teaching, and writing. Her greatest role, however, as a wife and as a mother. Please, I want you to welcome with me that's going to take the floor is Blessing Aribisala. She's going to be teaching. I want you to prepare your mind, and I say welcome on board. Over to you, Blessing. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you so much, Mr. Larry. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope you can all hear me loud and clear. Oh, all right. Good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me now. You can all hear me loud and clear. Good evening and welcome to this session. Yes, thank you. Good evening, Esther. Welcome to today's session. It's Student Hub 2.0, and as our anchor just told us, it's powered by Groundbreakers Forum, and this special one is for the students. This is where, so GBF is a leadership development platform for young people, and we have different branches. Like when I say branches, I mean like different things we do, and one of it is Student Hub. Okay, so here we just teach and we train and we mentor. We help you to become your best person even while you are a student, and that's what we are here to do this evening. So like this anchor said, my name is Blessing Aribisala, and I'll be your facilitator for this evening. I know some of you on the flyer, you may have seen a different face. That's the face of the founder and president, who also facilitates at different times. We have a whole team of people in the Leadership Academy. And for different sessions, you may see different faces and different people. Don't be scared. Don't worry. It's not a scam. It just means that it's a whole team. And so I'm the one on this evening. If you're not, some of you are familiar with us, some of you are not. If you are not, you can always catch us on YouTube. We had the last session for students, and I think the topic was 5 steps to an excellent grade. That was the topic for the last session. So you can always catch us on YouTube and catch up with the sessions. I'm just going to try to share my screen. This evening, we are going to be discussing becoming employable. I hope you can see my screen now. We're going to be discussing becoming employable. That's what we're discussing evening. And I just want us to do a little something. I can't really see the chat box, but I want to ask a question, and I just want you to pop in the chat if it's true or false. If you believe, if you think, oh yes, that's true, then you type true. But if you feel it's false, then you type false. So the first question is, you need connections to, or the first statement rather, is you need connections to get a job in Nigeria. Is this true or false? Please just type your response in the chat, please. You need connections to get a job in Nigeria, true or false? Somebody is saying true. Let's see more responses, please. You need connections to get a job in Nigeria, true or false? Oh, somebody said false. I think I like that. That's really confident. So I have 2 responses. Any more? What do we think? Because we're talking about becoming employable. Okay. Next statement. CGPA is the, okay, somebody said true and false. Next statement. CGPA is the most important thing when you're in school. That's while in school, your CGPA is the most important thing. True or false? While you're in school, your CGPA is the most important thing. True or false? False. Okay. True. Okay. Any other response? True. Okay. So CGPA is the most important thing while you're in school. Okay, and then the third question or statement rather is volunteering doesn't count as experience, true or false? When you serve as a volunteer, that it doesn't count. That doesn't count as experience, true or false? It doesn't count as work experience, false. Any other responses? False. Okay, I love that. Fantastic, fantastic. Thank you all for engaging. Thank you, fantastic. It does not volunteering does count. Sorry, does count as experience. You see, for the other two, there isn't a right or wrong answer. And I think that's part of what we are going to be doing this evening, just trying to understand that much of life, especially when it comes to employability and becoming employable and getting a job, much of life is not as straightforward as you would expect it to be. So thank you for your responses. Now we're just going to go straight into it. Like I said, we're discussing this evening becoming employable, and I don't want to keep us too long. So first thing, employed and employable. I want you to understand that employed does not equal employable, okay? Just because a person is employed does not mean they are employable. Yes, they are employed. They have a job currently, but this does not mean they are actually employable. I know it sounds off, but it's the truth, okay? So to be employed means that you have a job right now, or you are in a job. I know we are mostly students on this call, but just put yourself in that context, in that mental space of like work. So to be employed means that you have a role, or you're filling a role, or you have a job. But employable, to be employable, which is what we want to talk about, which is what we all should become. To be employable means that you are valuable in any market and any economy. So you hear people complain and talk about how Nigeria is this, Nigeria does not give opportunities to young people. It's so difficult in Nigeria, this Nigeria, that Nigeria. If you're employable, whether you're in China, you're in Australia, you're in United Kingdom, you're in the US, you're in Nigeria, wherever you are, you would not find it too difficult. It might be difficult because that's life, but you would still be fine. Because you're employable. Because to be employable means that you are valuable in any room, any space, any market, any economy. That is what employable means, okay? So the big idea there is that your degree or your skill or whatever would get you in the door, okay? But employability is what keeps you in the room. And even then, or even so, employability as a profile, if I permit me to use that word, is also what gets you in the door. That's why at the end of this training or this session, you should aim to be employable. You shouldn't just be satisfied with getting a job or being employed. That's not enough. Okay, because anyone can be employed, but not everyone is employable. This is what I mean. An employment or a job will get you a paycheck. Okay, you get a salary at the end of the month if you get a job. But being employable will get you a paycheck. It will get you a raise. It will get you promotions. It will get you opportunities, multiple opportunities. It will give you benefits beyond whatever your organization policies are. It will give you those unofficial perks that are there, the invisible and unofficial perks, okay? So becoming employable means that you want to be the kind of person people want in their organization. You want to be the kind of person people want on their team. That is what it means to be employable, okay? So moving on, let's talk about the 3 non-negotiables of employability, okay? It means that before you can call yourself employable, there are 3 things that you must be aware of and 3 bases you must cover, okay? And number 1 is skill. Number 1 is skill, okay? let's discuss skill. So what is skill? What is skill, or what is a skill, or what are skills? So skill is the learned ability to perform a specific action or task or job effectively, not to just perform it, but to perform it very well, effectively. So it could be a job, it could be a task, it could be a specific action, whatever you name it. So for example, singing. Singing is a skill if you are able to sing very well. If you have good voice control, voice modulation, projection, and all of that, and your voice is melodious, you are in synchronization with melody and harmony and the tune and whatever, they will call you a skillful singer. So to become employable, the first thing you need is skill. It's very important, skill. So skill is a learned ability. When we say it is learned, that means that it doesn't just stop at being talent or a gift. So someone that sings obviously has a gift or a talent of singing, right? But for it to become a skill, before that person can be called a skilled singer, there must be learning and practice. So skill essentially is knowledge or knowledge plus practice. I've heard someone define skill as knowledge plus practice. So you know how to sing because you're gifted or you're talented, but then you practice over and over and over, hours and hours of practice. It then becomes a skill. I don't know. I hope I'm communicating. I hope this is making sense. So to become employable, you must have skills. You must have a set of skills that would add value. That is when people would look at you and say, oh, I really love this young lady. I love this young man, and I want him on my team because he's good in this or good in that. Which now brings us to the different types of skills we have, okay? So in this day and age, in modern times, before now, when you talk about skills, people think about, oh, you can play the piano, photography, even litigation as a lawyer, surgery as a doctor, and whatever, cooking. Those are the kind of things people think about. But skills are actually in categories, okay? So we have hard skills, and you need to cover this base because hard skills are tangible, okay? Hard skills are practicable. Hard skills are demonstrable. Even soft skills are demonstrable, but hard skills are more related. People get in touch with it easily. And hard skill is more like the basis and the foundation of your qualification, yeah? So hard skills examples are what I've just told you: photography, surgery, litigation, cooking, singing, whatever. Those are all hard skills. So teaching, design, coding. What I'm doing now is a hard skill. Facilitating. I'm facilitating this session. That's a hard skill. Okay. What Lionel Messi has been doing since the start of the World Cup is a hard skill. Scoring goals is a hard skill. Playing football so well, he is a skilled footballer, like mega skilled footballer, because he knows how to play football and he has practiced it over and over and over. If you were to be a coach or a club manager, please, would you not want to hire Lionel Messi? You want to hire Messi because he's very skilled. Okay, so that's a hard skill. Those are hard skills. So you need your hard skills. You need to sit down as a student now. You need to take stock. You need to sit down, talk to yourself, and say, what are my hard skills? What can I do? I'll use myself as an example. So when I was in secondary school, my hard skills, I noticed that I was very good at talking. When we had competitions or stuff outside of school and even within the school, they always picked me. Anything that needed talking, they wanted someone to come and talk to, always call me. They always say, let us use let's go and call that kind of thing. So I noticed that was a skill I had. I also love to write. I was very good at writing. Again, whenever we had competitions, I remember on 2 occasions I got selected. The first one, we went to British Council. It was a writing competition. I won a place. I can't remember if it was second or third place. And then we had to come and do the presentation. at the British Council. The second one was for the US Embassy. So those are my two hard skills, apart from other whatever, but I could write very well and I could speak very well. So fast forward to university, it was like, I didn't need a soothsayer. It was a no-brainer. I ended up studying law because these skills that I had already, which you could have called, which you can call gift or talent, the hard skill of speaking and writing, I already had them, or rather the gift and talent, I already had it. But to make it a skill, I had to go and study law to turn it into a skill of maybe litigation, or solving legal problems. So do you see how you transfer? So you need to sit down, identify your skills, maybe your natural gifting talent, or things that you just do very well. Then look for how to make it into a skill. How? By learning. Remember when I started defining this thing, I defined a skill. I said it's a learned ability. So the ability is already there, but you have to add learning to the ability. Then learning brings knowledge. So to my ability to speak and write, I then added the learning of law, which now brought the knowledge of the legal profession, which I now have. Then you start practicing. So sit down, identify your skill. Then as you practice more and more, do you know what that practice is now called? It's called experience. So practice now equals what? Experience. So you start with ability, then you add learning, then learning becomes knowledge, then you add practice, which then gives you what? Competence and experience. Okay? So that's for hard skills. Now let's talk about soft skills. Soft skills are, remember I said number one to becoming employable is what? Skills. That's number one. So under skills, we have hard skills. Now soft skills. Soft skills are the human stuff that make people want to work with you. Simple and short. Soft skill is what people do not see. Soft skill is what makes them like you. Okay? So soft skill includes communication, time management, emotional intelligence, collaboration, teamwork, problem solving, adaptability, and so on and so forth. Okay, you can just think about anything you can think about. Soft skills make people want to work with you. So in order to become employable, if you want to graduate from university and not suffer to look for a job, you have to work on your hard skills, make sure you become an expert or highly skilled in whatever abilities you have, then add the soft skill to it. So become a friendly person, okay? Put a smile on your face. Talk to people nicely. Be polite. Be considerate. Be kind. Be helpful. Be understanding. Listen to people. Let them speak. Don't always interrupt, or you're the one that wants to say everything because you know everything. Don't be that kind of person. Don't be proud. And I'm still going to talk about attitude and character later. But these are your soft skills. There's, soft skills is like problem solving, using your initiative, thinking through things. I'm going to talk about, so let's just move on. Then finally, under skills, you need digital skills, okay? So hard skills would get you the job, so to speak, because you need qualifications. If they're advertising a job for an engineer, please, what is a medical doctor looking for there? Why would a medical doctor apply? These two people have hard skills, but they would not take the medical doctor because that's not the skill they need. I hope I'm making sense. So you first of all get your hard skill right, and then your soft skill. So your hard skill is your qualification, which is what you're now in university for, to get a skill, right? To master a skill, to get the knowledge, because you have an ability and you're already adding knowledge to it. But if your degree, your certificate, your qualification gets you the job, soft skills will keep you in the room. Soft skills will make people want to work with you. Soft skills is why they will not kick you out of that job. But digital skills will make you stand out. Digital skills will make your application stand out. It will make you stand out while you're in the job, even while you're in university now. You must just get some digital skills. It is, I don't even have the word. It is beyond important in this day and age that you have digital skills. So what do I mean? Collaboration tools. Some of you are here, you don't even know what Google Doc is. You have no idea. You have no clue, zero idea what a Google Doc is. Some of you are here, you don't know how to use PowerPoint. You cannot put together a simple PowerPoint presentation. And you have a smartphone and you are proud of yourself. So please, simple AI basics. Just imagine that you are on a recruitment panel and somebody comes before you for an interview. And you ask the young lady, what is the meaning of AI? No. Maybe just ask the young lady, what is your experience with AI? Or what do you know about AI? Or what can you do with AI? Just a basic question. And the person looks at you and says, AI. Sorry, ma, what is AI? As a recruiter on that panel, would you employ that person? No, I don't think you would. So please know the basics, because digital skills make you stand out. And even if you are, it's best to know more than the basics. You can even go beyond the basics to make you stand out. So remember, skill equals knowledge plus practice. To become employable, you must know and practice your skills, okay? So hard skills, soft skills, digital skills, and then become so good that you cannot be ignored. Let's go to character. And when I say character, yes, I mean your own character, not the character of any other person, but you, okay? So character keeps you in the room, like I already said. Remember what we said about soft skill, okay? But it also gets you into the door. People go for interviews, people go to networking events, and their character or personality puts potential employers off, and they lose opportunities. I know people that have lost opportunities because of their pride. I remember one time I was on a recruitment panel and we're trying to fill a vacancy in the organization. So we had interviews, we had done the shortlisting, and there was this man that came. And my boss, the head of the organization, was there. We're all sat together. And then we started asking him questions. First of all, the way he sat down was so funny. Sat down like he was in his living room. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying it was how he presented himself. I'm not saying you are a servant. I'm not saying you should be afraid or timid. No. Just be normal. Don't be just be normal. So rather than just sit like a regular person and speak, he sat down. I can't describe, I don't want to dramatize it, but then he started talking. As he was talking, he was saying things, I don't want to go into details for sake of confidentiality and all of that. When he left, first of all, he sounded very arrogant in his responses. When he left the room, we all laughed. And I remember some of my boss said, if I employ this man, he's going to take my job. You know? And in that minute, we all knew he wasn't getting that job. No matter what we had put down on the grading. The grading was not even good. It was poor. Of course, he was graded poorly because of his personality, his character, what he had showed us. So character can make you lose opportunities on your journey to gaining employment or becoming employable. So character, what is character? Character is who you are when no one is watching. And character is what you must have built. You must have built your character long before you get to the stage so that you don't go and embarrass yourself. So it's now that you're in the university that you start building your character. Those late night readings is going to translate to late nights on the job. That hard work that you're putting into your study is the same hard work you're going to put in the job. So whatever you're doing now as a student is what you're going to do on the job. That's the truth, because that is your character. That is your character. So when we say character, let's talk about a few. So tenacity and consistency, okay? And I'll just give you a few examples here to make it stick. So I remember my first job after NYC. So my dad said, oh, go and meet my friend is an SAN or a SAN. He has a law firm. He would, let's see if he will employ you. Go and meet him. He said you should come to his office. So you know what? As a, I don't know, good child that I am, I got there very early. He said I should come before 8 because he was going to court. So I got there very early, I think 7:30, and I saw him. He said he was going to court. He wouldn't be able to attend to me before court. I wasn't expecting him to anyway, but he said I should come early because he was going to court. So I thought he wanted to do it before court. But anyway, he left for court. He came back from court, saw me, said hello to me, went to his office, started having meetings, one meeting after the other, went out again, came back, saw me, went into another meeting. The long story short is that, or this, to cut the long story short, I was in that office till 7:30 p.m. without being seen. Not, he didn't say what to me. He did nothing. I was just there till 7:30 p.m. I was reading a book anyway. That day I finished a book of 300 and something pages. I cannot forget, while I was waiting. But I got the job. That was my first job as a lawyer, and I got the job. He didn't say anything to me. He didn't interview me. Maybe that was his own interview. Maybe he was testing my character. Maybe he was testing my tenacity. And then he just came out at 7:30 and said, oh, young lady, it's getting dark. It's late. You can go home now. Come again tomorrow. But I got the job. Okay? So I know another lady who was looking for a job. She wanted a particular job, not just any job. And she applied over 100 times. She submitted over 100 applications before she got that job. So if you're an employer, when someone tells you that kind of thing, how would you feel? You feel like, oh my God, this person is a go-getter. And you would want that person. But she has built that character before then. Okay? I also know of the story of there's this Nigerian, they call him the Lagos traffic CV. He was a fresh graduate and he couldn't get tech interviews. He wanted to get into tech. So you know what he did? He printed 1,000. Are you listening to me? Not 50, not 20, not 50, not 500, 1,000. 1,000 CVs, mini CVs. So he had the mini CV and then he had his CV and he had a QR code. You know what he did? He went into Lagos traffic and started sharing it out to people in traffic. Every and any person through their windows, he was just sharing it in traffic. And when you scan the QR code, it will say board in traffic. No, the paper itself, this thing was like the QR overlay, board in traffic, scan me. So when you scan, you will now see hire me and then like a CV and blah, blah, blah. Of course, he got hired. A fintech CEO scanned it, happened to be in traffic, because you don't know who is in traffic. It's not written on their forehead that this person is a CEO. So the person scanned it and he liked the boldness of the guy. He liked his character. He liked his tenacity, his consistency to go out and give 1,000 slips of paper to total strangers. It requires tenacity and consistency. And the guy gave him, first of all, an internship and then later on a full-time job. So that's just one example. Another thing is that hard work. People notice. Some of you now, they would call for group assignments, group work. They put you in a group. You will stylishly remove yourself and let other people do the work. People notice. If after uni, I got a job opportunity that I did not want, and the lady said, can you please recommend people to me? I thought about people in my class when I was in university because she needed a lawyer, but she needed a female lawyer because she was going to be traveling with the person. They were going to do a lot of traveling. So she wanted a female lawyer. And I started thinking about the females in my class. Some people I thought about and I was like, no, their character, I can't offer them this opportunity because I'm sticking out my neck for them. And if they go and mess up, the lady is going to come back to me and say, this person you gave me. But the person I gave to her, that lady worked with her for about 5 years before going for her master's degree, leaving to go and do. So hard work, people notice. If you're the one that is always running away from the group assignment, people notice. Okay, let's move it quickly. So reliability, attitude. Okay, I already talked about this. Don't be someone that is difficult to work with. In the group, you're giving group assignments, you are the one that is always causing trouble, problems, stressing everybody in the group. Nobody wants you in their group. Don't be that person. Have integrity. Don't cheat. If you're cheating now on your schoolwork, you're using AI to cheat, you should use AI to help you and support your work, not to cheat. If you're doing all of that now, it's just a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Okay, so character is what you should be building now. Have integrity. If you tell people I'll be there by 5 o'clock, be there by 5, not 1 minute past 5. Okay, integrity, take initiative. Okay, it's not everything they'll tell you in life, it's not everything they'll teach you. Some things you just have to come up with it on your own. And people love when people take initiative. If you see a problem, think about a solution and offer the solution. And time will not permit me. I would have given you examples of things I did as a young lawyer working, some of the problems I solved, where 2 different law firms I worked in, and the results I got and what that did for me in my career. But there is no time. Take initiative. Okay, look for ways to come up with things on your own without being told. That is what initiative is. All right, so initiative is the ability to take a step or act independently without being told, essentially. Then excellence. Excellence is an attitude. I remember we were talking about character. Excellence is an attitude. The question is, right now, how do you handle your schoolwork? Do you submit on time? Or are you the one that is always going to beg the teacher and say, please extend the deadline? If you're doing that now in your job, you're not employable. You're not employable, please. You are not. Because that's the same thing you will do on your job. When they employ you, you're always begging for extension, for them to extend the deadline. How do you appear? Do you appear excellently to lectures, or you go shabbily dressed? That's the same thing you do on your job. And then when you come to lectures, you come prepared, or you are that one student that is always looking for pen. Sorry, please, you have 2 pens. Do you have a spare pen? Sorry, can you rip a piece of paper from your notebook for me? Don't be that person. That character is not what people would employ. They don't want such people. There are people that come to interviews, they are not prepared. You'll be shocked. And you say you want this job. So let's go to the next slide so that we finish. Number 3, remember I said there are 3 non-negotiables to employability. Number 1, skills. Under skills, we talked about hard skills, soft skills, digital skills. Number 2 is character. Very important. And number 3 is your network. This is your real CV. So forget that thing about people giving CV. CV has its own role. CV has its own role to play in becoming employable. But your real CV is human beings, your relationship. Okay, you must learn to network through people. Opportunities come through people. How did I get one job that I got? I don't want to go into details, but I read that job was paying like 6 figures, not like normal 6 figures, like good 6 figures. And how did I get that job? It was through somebody in the law firm. Yes, the head of the law firm, the head of our chamber, and then he was like, oh, I know somebody. And then he gave me his card. No, I can't remember if he gave me he gave me his card. He wrote a note on the back of his complimentary card, gave me the card, told me to go to the address. And when I went there, it's a posh place, so they didn't want to let me in. They're like, do you have an appointment? I said no. They're like, but the way I behaved, like I was very nice, I was very polite, I was smiling, I was friendly. And then the security guard was like, okay, you know what, just hold on, I'll make a phone call to the office. So he phoned the office, and the person was like, I don't know that person. No problem, just let the person come in. So first of all, I used my character to get into the door. And then when I went in, I had my CV, I had the complimentary card, the note from the lawyer, and then I presented it, and the person was like, oh, okay. And that's how I got audience. Then I started marketing myself. So your network, people, very important. Okay, opportunities come through people. Then you want to be the kind of person that people can refer. I just told you, when that lady asked me for a female lawyer, I had to think about people that I can refer to her. I didn't send one person because she had to have an interview. So I sent her about 5 or 6 female lawyers, and then she chose one. So be the kind of person that people would refer. They will first of all refer you, and then you have to do the rest of the work. But the first thing you need is a referral. Okay? So sometimes it's not all about your CV, because people are your real CV. Then your another thing you need to think about is your CV and your portfolio. So when they referred you, like me now, when I went to that office, the next thing they asked me was, do you have your CV? And I presented my CV. And then they saw everything. And then they started asking me things like, what have you done before? Like in relation to the job I was looking for. They said, so have you ever done this kind of job before? I said, oh yes, I volunteered in such and such places. So you need to start building your portfolio now. You need to start, if you're looking for a job with an NGO, right now, you need to start looking for smaller. Let's say you want to work with United Nations, which is not general NGO, but you get what I mean. Let's say you want to work with international NGOs. To become employable, you need to start looking for small charities now, small NGOs in your environment, and start working with them. Then you keep records. You can even ask them for a letter. You keep those things so that when you graduate, you've done all of that for free. When you graduate and you're looking for a job, you put together those documents called a portfolio, and you do in a nice way. And then you start emailing these big organizations, the NGOs you're looking for, you start emailing them. And that's how, so build your CV, and then let's just go. So you think about it, your network, your skills, your character, your network, okay? And then moving on. So what to build? All right. There are certain things you must start doing now in order to become employable at the end of your time as a student. The first thing is learning. You must learn constantly and consistently, okay? So the 80-20 principle, 20% of what you do gives you 80% of the result, the Pareto principle. You can Google it. So you must start learning, listen to things, read books, attend seminars. There's someone now on this call, one of the way he got his job was he went to an event, like a seminar, training. So take note of that. He went there because he wants to get more knowledge. Then the person he went with, that is network. No. Sorry, he went there. Yes, he actually went there because he knew that person, right? So the person invited him. So that's people, right? So he went there. First of all, people, then the desire to learn. He went there. Then he sat next to someone who now told him about a job opportunity. And that's how he got that job. And it was a fantastic job. I don't want to mention the name of the place because it was a really good job. So learning, keep learning every day. Look for opportunities where you can learn. Like what you're doing now, you came for this training. That is very good. I remember when I was in my first year in university, I attended a training how to write CV writing. Yes, it was CV writing. I still remember in 2009 or 8 or something, 2009, 2010. And it was 500 naira. 500 naira. That's what I paid. I can never forget. And they said they'll give us a certificate at the end of the training. I went to that training and we were taught how to write. I was in 100 level. I remember my roommates in 400 level. They were laughing at me and making fun that, what do you need CV writing for? You are just in 100 level. I went and I took notes and I kept the book. When I graduated, in fact, before I graduated, my elder brother graduated. He's a medical doctor. And he was looking for jobs. He did not know how to write CV. He started to stop everybody in the house. I need CV. Oh, daddy said I should bring CV. Daddy said I should bring CV. I don't have CV. I then told him, I said, I paid 500 naira. And they taught me how to write CV. Come, I will write it for you. His CV was the first one I designed. And he got a job. It's not because of the CV, but the CV was part of it. And after that, I started helping people do CV. So when it was my turn, when I graduated, it was not a problem for me. So always look for learning opportunities, okay? Number 2, learn to communicate well. Good and clear, concise, articulate communication cannot be overemphasized. If you're given an opportunity to pitch yourself, you need to know what you are going to say. Practice the elevator pitch. There's something called the elevator pitch. You can search it up and practice it. Learn to communicate in writing. Sometimes as recruiters, people that we look at people's CV, we look at their cover letter, we look at their supporting statement, and we just shake our head. Because what is this? No, what are you saying? I can't separate A from B. I don't know. So the summary is learn to communicate well. You're going to go before a panel to do interviews. Learn to communicate well. Even in the workplace, you need communication skills. Next thing you need to start working on now is problem solving. Being employed is all about problem solving. They are employing you to solve a problem. You are there because that organization is solving a problem, and you are part of the solution chain. And that's why you've been employed. So problem solving is so important in this century, 21st century job market. Learn to solve problems. Don't just complain. Look for a problem and solve. When you look for one problem to solve, right now in your university, there's a problem. In the hostel, there are problems you can solve. Or maybe you're staying off campus, maybe in your compound, in your flat, there are problems. Look for it. In your church, there are problems. In your mosque, there are problems. In your environment, your neighborhood where you live, your family, there are problems everywhere, all around us. Look for a problem to solve and document it, record it, because you're going to use it later to market yourself. So problem solving, then be someone that is easy to work with. I've already said this, okay? Adapt fast. Don't come and say, no, this AI is witchcraft. Really? Please adapt to change. Adapt fast. If not, you'll be left behind, okay? Because industries change, sectors change, organizations change. People who adapt get promoted. People who resist, they get replaced. You don't want to be replaced. You want to be brought on board. You want to be employed, and you want to be promoted. You want to grow, right? And then volunteer. Volunteering is something you have to start doing now. I've said this thing over and over. That job I just told you about, that someone referred me, and then I went to the person. When I was being interviewed, I was asked that, okay, so what have I done before? It was my volunteering that helped me, because I've not actually done the job, but I had volunteered in so many places, like the job, that role. So that was it was a big point for me. So start volunteering, okay? And then there's no time. Would have talked about applying for jobs and interviews. Maybe we'll do a different session on that. But now you have to learn how to market yourself. I've been on recruitment panels, and I've also faced recruitment panels. I've faced recruitment and I've been on the panel. So both ways, I know what it feels like. You need to learn how to market yourself. You need to learn how to answer interview questions. When they ask you, there's something they are looking for. And let me tell you, as a recruiter, when those questions you are asked is usually tied to values. So let's say they ask you a question like, tell us of a time you've been in conflict. Tell us of a time you have experienced conflict, and how did you resolve it? They have a list of values, maybe integrity, problem solving, initiative. So they'll make a list of values, right? And then for each of those values, they'll draft a question, maybe 2 or 3 questions for each value, and then they ask you. So when you hear a question, you should quickly, on the spot, your brain should tell you, what values should I mention? Which direction should this answer go? And then they give you points. But there's no time for that. So I will just go to the next slide. So this is what to build. Now, the next thing we want to discuss is what to avoid. Okay, so in becoming employable, and we're about to round up, in becoming employable, there are some things to avoid. So number 1, entitlements. Yes, entitlements. Nobody owes you anything. No. Even if you finish with a first class, my darling, nobody owes you a job. Okay? Don't be entitled. Okay? So you need to come with a mindset of, I can earn this, not I deserve it. I can earn it. If I work hard enough, I can earn that role. I can earn a six-figure salary. I can earn that position. I can whatever, but not I deserve it. So you need to remove that from your head. And then invisibility. There's no point if you are you're skillful or you're highly skilled, you have a lovely character, and so many things, or like you're just a fantastic person. You have everything and nobody knows. What's the point? So please, you need to avoid invisibility. Make yourself visible. Okay, from now, as a student, from now. Okay, so look for, when I was a student, I served in, I can't count how many roles of capacity for my first year. For my second year, because my first year I skipped. So for my second year, I served as an ESCO. And then third year, I was an ESCO in three organizations, three places. By fourth year, I was chief registrar up until I graduated. By fifth year, I was, yes, in three or four organizations. So I was very visible. I was highly visible. I had classmates and people in university that knew me, but I did not know them. I did not know them. That I was highly visible. That's the point I'm trying to make. So please, you must be visible, okay? You have good things, let people know. There's no time. Another thing to avoid is excuses. Please, 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 please. Avoid excuses. Excuses stink. They give a very bad impression. So imagine my father sent me to that law firm, to that SAN, and I phoned the SAN, or I send a message and say, good morning, sir. I'm so sorry. I was meant to come to your office today, but I'm having a tummy ache, so I can't make it. And you say you are looking for a job. So is this how we would have a client, a 60 billion naira worth client to attend to? And you will send me an email or a message to say, I'm sorry, sir, I won't be able to make it to the office today because I'm having a tummy ache. So what happens to our 60 billion naira clients? What is going to pay your salary? It's not that 60 billion we are looking for. So please, excuses. People give you don't submit your assignment on time. You don't go to lectures. They are full of excuses. You are not employable. Okay. Let's make it quick. So now I want to talk about taking action. Okay. And this is where I'm rounding up in a few minutes. Take action. That's the next thing. So you already heard everything I've said. I've told you that employed does not equal employable. There's a difference between employed and employable. I've told you that already. I've told you about the three non-negotiables of employability: skill, character, network, which is your real CV. I've told you about the things that you need to start building now. I've told you there are some things you need to start building now. And I've told you the things to avoid. And so now I want to talk about action, okay? Taking action, very important. So what do we mean? Your relevant skill. You need to pick up those skills now, if you have not already started doing that. So any education, if you need to upskill, you need then upskill. Any education, you need to get qualification or apprenticeships or whatever. You need to do it. You cannot escape it. You need to put in the hard work, okay? You cannot want to become employable, easily employable. And I'll tell you something. When I was younger, I'm still young, and looking for a job. I wasn't looking for a job, to be very honest. I didn't look for a job. I had offers. I had multiple offers. Okay, even in that law firm where I was, that first law firm, I just said, a lady came into the office. She met me for the first time. That was the first day in her life that she saw me, she met me. And there were other lawyers there, both male and female, and she offered me a job on the spot. In my office, I was in my office at my desk. She was meeting me for the very first time and she offered me a job. And then I said, oh, thank you. And I would look for somebody else. I even went to her office. Today we have a relationship. Till today we have a relationship. We email each other. I never worked for her. So please, any skills you need to do, pick it up. Pick up the skills, okay? Both hard, soft, and digital skills. Then feedback, okay? The truth will set you free. Ask people things that, you know, sit down, ask people, what do you think about my personality? What do you think about my character? What do you think about this? Write proposals and give it to people and say, can you look at this? What do you think? Did I do it well? Do things, presentations and whatever, put it together and share with people and say, what do you think? Feedback is very important. Volunteering, take action, volunteer. Volunteering gives you work experience and it gives you a network. You will meet people in that space, even though you're not yet officially working. You would meet people in that space that may lead you to greater opportunities. So don't despise volunteering, volunteer. And then you can start a business, okay? Starting a business will give you capacity to train you, to give you unlimited gains, to give you growth. A job will give you a salary, but a business will give you profit, and profit cannot be measured. You can sell something today and make 1 million naira, whereas some other person is earning 200,000 every month. So you've gotten their 5 month salary in one transaction. That's the power of business. Okay, so you need to take action. And I'm just going to give you 1 or 2 stories of people that took dramatic action towards employment. Okay, so we have the story of Alec Brownstein. He's called the Billboard guy. And what did he do? He wanted to work with top ad agencies. So you know what he did? He bought the Google ad for the names of 4 creative directors he wanted to work for. So whenever they Google themselves, they see him instead. He pops up on Google and then he goes on like, hey, are you Googling yourself? No, he goes, hey, Googling yourself is a lot of fun. Hiring me is fun too. And they're like, who's this guy? What kind of advert is this? Anyway, bottom line, he got a job. Okay. So he got about 3 offers or 4 offers and he got a job. So you need to take action. Then there was this this lady, she wanted a job in a startup, but she kept applying and she kept getting, unfortunately. So she delivered a pizza to the CEO himself. She delivered it to the CEO. She attached her CV to the pizza. And she said, I'm delivering more than pizza. I'm delivering results. And the guy was like, okay, come on board and come and deliver more results. So she also got hired. There's also the story of a guy who he went to work with Google. So he designed a website and made it look exactly like Google homepage, like everything is the same. But when you go into that space, that's space bar, whatever, that's to search, it's his name that comes up, okay, and his portfolio. Then he now emailed the link to all the recruiters, Google recruiters, and they hired him as an software engineer. So he got that one. Then there was this also lady, I think she went viral. She went to work for Airbnb, so she designed a full rebrand, like she rebranded the whole Airbnb thing and tweeted the 20-page presentation or whatever. And I think the tweet went viral until the CEO saw it, and that's how she came on board. And then I heard of a Nigerian guy that published his CV in the newspaper. He said, I'm a first-class graduate, you know, and I've graduated with the first class in so and so year, and I haven't gotten any interviews. Full page in National Daily, and he got a job. Then there's also this lady that did 15 minutes coffee. So I can't remember if she emailed or what, but I think she emailed like different people that she wanted to network with because she had a business and she just wanted them to like buy into her business. So she took action. She emailed them like, can I buy you coffee for just 15 minutes? And quite a number of people responded and she got what she wanted. So the point is that you need to take action, okay? Learn a skill, start a business or whatever. And there was this guy that, I don't know what he did for Twitter. I don't know how he did it. I'm trying to remember. So he wanted to go into tech, like content and everything. And I think he did like a teaching or something. And it just started going on Twitter, going. Eventually, so a lot of the big tech founders, like in Nigeria, they started sending him messages in his DM. and he started his own business. He did not go to anybody. He didn't go and work for anybody. When he saw the opportunity and he saw that he was making sense and people were liking his content, like tech-related content, he just went into business and he started a business. So the point is take action, take action, take action. Okay. So before we wrap up, because we also take, I think we have a few minutes to take questions. Before we wrap up, I just want you to do something. So you could do it on your phone, you could do it on a piece of paper. I want you to draw 2 columns, okay? So you could just draw a line down the middle of the paper, or if you're doing it on your phone, I guess you just do it top, bottom. And I want you to, it's called gap analysis, yeah? I want you to write, so on one side, just write the job I want after school, the job I want after school, on one side of the paper, if you're using paper. On the other side, 3 things I currently don't have for that job. So you have 2 headings, yeah? So if you're doing it on your phone, you can do it top, bottom. So just write it. Now, I want you to just take a second to think. What is the job you want? What's the job you want after school? So if you know the answer right now, you can write it down. And then for the second part, you can do it after the training. Just identify 3 things that you do not have that job needs. Number 1 might be experience. I don't know. 3 things the job needs that you don't have. Now, take time after to answer those questions. And then if you like, as an extra, let's say Jara, you can also write 3 things I have that this job needs. So that those 3 things, you can work to improve them. And then the other 3 things, you can close the gap, okay? Because it's called gap analysis. You can close the gap. If you identify 3 things you need for that job that you don't have, then you can work on it, okay? Finally, to wrap it up, people often say, or it's often said, it's so popular, if you want butterflies, my dear, you don't go chasing butterflies. You would never catch the butterfly. Have you tried to run after a butterfly before? Have you tried to catch a butterfly before? It's nearly impossible. If you want butterflies, you have to attract the butterflies. So you create a garden. That's how you get butterflies. You create a garden. So in other words, don't be someone that chases jobs, okay? Become the kind of person that jobs chase. How do you do this? Make yourself employable. Become the kind of person that anybody that meets you or interacts with you wants to give you a job. So don't chase butterflies. Become the kind of person that attracts butterflies. In this context, jobs. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for listening. Any questions? While we take questions, please kindly complete the feedback form using the link in the chat and any other links that have been posted. We would really appreciate your engagement. Please fill out those forms because we're going to have more sessions. Like I said to you, we've had a previous session and it was 5 steps to excellent grades. And we would have a lot of sessions going forward. It's what we do is for students. Tomorrow, we have the Officematics. I don't know if the anchor spoke about it. Officematics is for people in the corporate space, but you're welcome to join us if you like to increase your knowledge. So we're having an Officematics session tomorrow, and we're talking about mastering workplace communication. Before now, we spoke about office politics. We spoke about emotional intelligence. So you can always join for tomorrow's session. It's just like this one, about 1 hour thereabout. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. I'm just looking at the chat now. Do we have any questions? Oh, thank you, Franklin. Thank you so much, Franklin. Do we have any questions? You can pop it in the chat box. You can unmute your mic. Or you can raise your virtual hand. Any questions at all? Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Faith. Okay, so if we have no questions, it means it was a lovely one. Everyone understood. I will just hand over to our anchor. Thank you, Mr. Sweet, so that we can call it a day. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I hope to see all of you on the call tomorrow for Office Mathematics as well. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Over to you, Mr. Larry.
Thank you so much.